The most exhausting woman you'll ever love is the one who swears she doesn't need you. On the outside, she looks like everything a man could want. Independent, strong, focused. She doesn't cling, doesn't beg, doesn't lean on you for every little thing. In fact, she barely leans on you at all. And at first that feels refreshing. She's not draining, she's not constantly demanding, she's not checking your phone every hour or asking where you are every second of the day. She seems easy, effortless, a woman who can handle her own life. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. Loving a hyper-independent woman feels like standing outside a locked door, holding the key, and still not being sure she'll let you in. Because beneath the image of strength, there's a history, a story that shaped her into who she is, a story that doesn't get told because she's too busy carrying it, hiding it, surviving it. And when you step into her world, you're not just loving a woman, you're colliding with every scar, every disappointment, every letdown that taught her to rely on no one but herself. So yes, she'll amaze you, but she'll also confuse you. She'll love you deeply one moment, and in the next, she'll retreat into silence. She'll tell you she's fine, and she'll look like she means it, but something in your gut will whisper that she's lying. And most men don't know how to handle that. That's the untold cost of loving her. But to understand it, you have to go back to why she became this way, and what it really means when a woman stops asking for help altogether. She looks flawless. To the outside world, she's the woman people point to when they say she's got her life together. Her bills are paid, her career moves forward, her house is in order. She doesn't need rescuing, and she doesn't walk around begging for attention. If you're the man standing next to her, your friends might even envy you. Bro, you're lucky. She doesn't nag, she doesn't stress you, she's independent. That's the dream. And at first you might believe it too. It feels like freedom. A partner who carries her own weight, who doesn't rely on you for every small thing. It feels like you hit the jackpot. But slowly you'll start to notice something. That independence everyone applauds, it isn't free. It comes with a price, one you'll eventually feel. Because independence looks perfect on the surface. She smiles, she handles her business, she seems unshakable. But you don't see the long nights she spent learning how to survive alone. You don't see the moments where she cried quietly, telling herself to toughen up because no one was coming to help. You don't see the years where her strength wasn't a choice. It was a necessity. What looks like confidence is sometimes just armor. What looks like she's got this is sometimes just her hiding the fact that she doesn't know who she can actually count on. And here's the kicker. When you're with a woman like this, you might think, she doesn't really need me. And if you start to believe that, you'll relax, you'll stop showing up, you'll stop checking in. Because in your mind, she's already got everything under control. That's where most men go wrong. They mistake her silence for strength. They mistake her independence for wholeness. And they miss the invisible cracks forming underneath. Because sooner or later, even the strongest woman gets tired of carrying it all. Here's the thing about her, she won't ask you for help. Not because she doesn't want it, but because she's trained herself not to expect it. Every time she needed someone in the past, someone failed her. Maybe it was a father who wasn't around. Maybe it was friends who disappeared when things got hard. Maybe it was a partner who said all the right words but never followed through. Over time, those lessons stack up, and eventually she decided it was easier to just depend on herself. So now when she's struggling, she won't call. When she's overwhelmed, she'll push through. When she's breaking inside, she'll smile and tell you she's fine. Because to her, asking feels risky, depending feels dangerous, vulnerability feels like stepping onto a shaky bridge she can't trust to hold her. And that's the paradox. You want to love her, but she's built a whole life on not needing anyone to show up. So you wait for her to open up, to ask, to lean on you. but she doesn't. And in that silence, you start to assume she's okay, that she doesn't need you, that she's stronger than she really is. But here's the brutal truth. She wants support, but she doesn't know how to ask for it anymore. She wants someone to lighten the load, but her reflex is to carry it all alone. And if you don't see through that, she'll quietly resent you. Not because you failed, but because you didn't notice when she was silently drowning. And if you don't see through that, she'll quietly resent you. Not because you failed, but because you didn't notice when she was silently drowning. That's why men who love hyper-independent women often feel confused. They think, if she needs me, she'll tell me, but she won't. That's not how she operates. She doesn't test you with words. She tests you with silence. She waits to see if you notice what she won't say. And most men, they don't. If there's one phrase that defines her, it's this: I'm fine. She'll say it with a smile. She'll say it while she's holding back tears. She'll say it when her world feels like it's falling apart. And if you're not paying attention, you'll believe her, because she's mastered the art of looking composed. She can sit in chaos and still make it look like calm. She can carry heartbreak on her shoulders and still walk into a room like nothing's wrong. She can drown in silence, and you'll never hear the splash. But here's the reality. I'm fine doesn't mean fine. It means I don't trust you enough to show you I'm not okay. It means I don't want to be disappointed if you don't show up. It means I've survived worse alone, so I'll survive this too. And that mask, oh, it's dangerous. Because the more she says it, the more you'll start to believe it. You'll stop digging deeper. You'll stop asking twice. You'll think she's got it all under control, when really she's quietly collapsing inside. This is why so many relationships with women like her break down. Not because there's no love, but because the love never goes deep enough. She doesn't give you the chance to see her wounds, and you don't realize you're supposed to look for them. And then resentment builds. She feels unseen even when she never showed you where to look. You feel unneeded even though she desperately wanted you to notice. That's the silent war, the one no one talks about. And the scariest part, she won't blow up at you. She won't start a fight. She won't cry and scream. She'll just shut down, quietly, slowly. Until one day, you realize the woman who once looked at you like you were everything now looks at you like you're nothing. That's the cost of mistaking "I'm fine" for the truth. Loving a woman like this doesn't break you with drama. It doesn't shatter with chaos. It bleeds slowly, quietly, like water dripping on stone. At first, you don't notice it. She's handling everything: her job, her emotions, her responsibilities. You start to believe she doesn't really need you. And once that thought creeps in, you relax. You stop showing up in the little ways because she doesn't complain. You stop checking in because she insists she's fine. But what you don't see is that inside, she's keeping score. Not in a petty way, but in a survival way. Every time she carries the load alone while you sit back thinking she's got it handled, a seed of quiet resentment takes root. And when those seeds pile up, they don't sprout into arguments. They sprout into distance. That's the hidden cost of loving her. She won't yell at you for not noticing. She won't nag you for not helping. She won't demand more. She'll just decide she can live without you because she already knows how. And that's what makes her both magnetic and dangerous. She'll love you hard, but if you ever make her feel like she's alone in the relationship, she won't fight. She'll simply detach. She'll start pulling her energy back, inch by inch, until one day you realize she's gone. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. Most men never see it coming. Because they mistook her independence for invincibility. They thought her strength meant she didn't need care. And by the time they realize what they've lost, it's too late. That's what it really costs to love a hyper-independent woman. Not the arguments, not the chaos, but the silent unraveling when you don't see past her armor. Here's the brutal truth. Hyper-independence isn't strength. It looks like strength. It feels like strength. People applaud it as strength, but at its core, it's a scar. It's what happens when a woman learns too early that no one is coming to save her. When she realizes that the only way to survive is to harden, to toughen, to rely on no one but herself. That kind of lesson doesn't make her stronger, it makes her guarded, and once that armor is on, it's not easy to take off. This is why loving her feels so confusing. Because she'll look like she's got it all together. She'll tell you she doesn't need you. She'll carry her own bags, fix her own problems, pay her own bills. And part of you will think, wow, she's amazing. But part of you will think, wow, she's amazing. But another part of you will wonder, where do I fit in? What's my role here? And if you're not careful, you'll convince yourself she doesn't want or need your love at all. That's when men pull back. That's when relationships die in silence. But here's the twist. She does want love. She does want softness. She does want someone she can finally rest with. She just doesn't know how to show it. She doesn't know how to ask. And she doesn't know if she can trust you enough to hand over even a piece of the weight she's been carrying. That's why men get it wrong. They think her independence means she's unshakable, but the reality is she's just tired. Tired of being strong. Tired of carrying it all. Tired of pretending she's fine and the cost of loving her. If you don't understand that truth, if you don't recognize that her independence is just the armor covering her scars, you'll always be kept at the surface. She'll love you, yes, but never all the way, because she can't risk it, not until she feels safe enough to put the armor down. So how do you actually love a woman like this? How do you break through armor that's been welded on for years? The answer isn't in grand gestures or empty words, it's in consistency. You don't wait for her to ask, you step up before she even has to. You notice the little things. You see the tired look in her eyes, even when she swears she's fine. You grab her hand when she doesn't say a word. You carry the load without making her beg you to. That's how she learns you're not like the people who failed her before. You create safety, not once, not sometimes, every single day, because the moment she feels like her guard cost her too much, she'll retreat. You learn patience, because she won't open up overnight. She's not going to dump her heart in your lap just because you said you love her. She's going to test you through silence, through distance, through hesitation. She'll watch how you handle her walls. Do you get frustrated? Do you take it personal? Or do you keep showing up calm, steady, and consistent? And most importantly, you don't just love her strength. You love her softness too. You remind her that she doesn't have to be the strong one all the time. With you, she can rest, she can breathe, she can be fragile without being abandoned. Because the truth is, she doesn't need a savior. She doesn't need someone to fix her. She doesn't need someone to take over her life. What she needs is safety. Safe enough to finally let her guard down. Safe enough to let you in. Safe enough to let love in without feeling like it's going to break her. That's the secret. That's the way you love a hyper-independent woman. Not by fighting her strength, but by being the first person she doesn't have to be strong with. The most exhausting woman you'll ever love is the one who swears she doesn't need you. And not because she's difficult or demanding, she's the opposite of that. What makes her exhausting is that you'll have to learn how to see past what she shows you. You'll have to love her in the spaces she doesn't talk about. You'll have to show up without being asked, notice without being told, and build trust without expecting instant reward. She won't hand you her heart wrapped neatly with a bow. She'll guard it, she'll test you, she'll doubt you. But if you're patient enough, if you're consistent enough, if you're willing to show her that your love doesn't vanish the moment things get hard, you'll see a version of her most people never do. You'll see the softness, the tenderness, the love that comes from a woman who's finally allowed to rest. And that kind of love, it's powerful, it's rare, it's worth every ounce of effort it takes to earn it. Because when she trusts you enough to put the armor down, she doesn't just give you love, she gives you everything she's been holding back. So the question isn't whether you can handle her independence. The real question is, can you handle the patience it takes to love the woman behind it? Because at the end of the day, loving her isn't about handling her strength. It's about being steady enough to hold the woman behind it. And if you can't do that, her armor will outlast your love every single time.